asymptomatic carriers transmit disease? How infectious are virus carriers who have the disease but will never develop symptoms? And what is the difference between an asymptomatic and a pre-symptomatic carrier? Are asymptomatic carriers transmitters? Tonight on To The Point.
Good evening, you're watching To The Point. I'm Preeti Chaudhary. We're going to get to that story in just a short while. Lots of questions being raised whether asymptomatic carriers are actual transmitters as well. The WHO said something a few days ago and then it went back in terms of saying that very few studies are there to actually base an opinion yet. And also, what's the difference between an asymptomatic carrier and a pre-symptomatic person? We're going to get you the details there, but let me shift focus right now to the big political story we are tracking today. Well, it's been over 80 days and what we've heard till now in terms of politics has been we'll fight it together. All of us politically need to come together. Opposition parties saying the same, the government saying the same. But slowly, as the lockdown is opening up, it seems, so is the realms of politics. It's back to the usual, and today, Ravi Shankar Prasad came out, the union minister, and took on Rahul Gandhi and the Congress of all the points that have been made over the course of many days of the Congress and Rahul Gandhi attacking the government on be it the standoff at the LAC, which ensues in the backdrop of a pandemic, be it the Arogya Setu app, which Rahul Gandhi said was anti-privacy, be it Manrega, which the Congress said that the government ultimately relied on Manrega to provide livelihood to people in the times of pandemic. All of that. Politics is back in focus.
As India unlocks after 2 months of lockdown, so does politics. A brewing political face-off is bubbling over. It's back to the BJP versus Congress. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad took on Rahul Gandhi and the Congress on a host of issues.
राहुल गांधी को इतनी तो समझदारी होनी चाहिए कि चीन के साथ सामरिक संबंधों पर ट्विटर से सवाल नहीं पूछा करते। कम से कम चुनौती भरे मामलों में विदेश नीति में खुलकर इस तरह से सवाल पूछना उनका लाजिमी है क्या?
He was responding to Rahul Gandhi's attempt to corner the Modi government over the LAC standoff with China. Taking to Twitter, Congress MP Rahul Gandhi questioned Prime Minister's silence on the Ladakh standoff and claimed that China took over Indian territory. The minister also responded to Congress's charge that successive lockdowns were a failure.
The aim and the purpose of our lockdown has failed. What India is facing now in front of us is the result of a failed lockdown.
सवाल हमसे पूछते हैं तो उनके कांग्रेस के मुख्यमंत्री लॉकडाउन क्यों लगाते हैं? पंजाब की सरकार ने सबसे पहले लॉकडाउन क्यों लगाया और अभी भी 30 तक लगा रखा है? तो क्या राहुल गांधी जी हम मान के चलें कि आपके मुख्यमंत्री आपकी बात नहीं सुनते?
The government was quick to hit back on Rahul Gandhi's recent criticism of the Arogya Setu app.
आज आरोग्य सेतु को 11 करोड़ लोगों ने देश में डाउनलोड किया है। ये आपको सावधान करता है अगर आप किसी कोविड के संक्रमित व्यक्ति के संपर्क में आते हैं, आप दूर रहिए। तो आपकी सरकार प्रदेशों में ऐप यूज करे तो ठीक है, लेकिन नरेंद्र मोदी की सरकार अगर आरोग्य सेतु करे तो वो गलत है।
The minister contended that Modi government gave Manrega a proper form.
मनरेगा में हमने सजेशन दिया है कि नंबर ऑफ डेज को डबल कीजिए, मगर आज का हिंदुस्तान और 10 साल पहले वाला हिंदुस्तान अलग है। आज बहुत सारे जो हमारे मजदूर हैं वो शहरों में रहते हैं।
7, 8 और 11, 12 में 2252 करोड़ रुपए खर्चा हुए इनएडमिसिबल वर्क पर जो नहीं होने चाहिए थे। और हमारी सरकार ने क्या किया कि आज मनरेगा का सारा पेमेंट सीधा बैंक अकाउंट में जाता है, आधार से लिंक्ड होना चाहिए, ताकि जो जमीन पर मजदूर काम करते हैं उनको पेमेंट मिले।
Even as the fight against the pandemic seems far from over with numbers escalating, it's politics as usual with a pandemic backdrop. Bureau Report, India Today.
4,04,000 लोग मरे हैं।
All right, so politics as usual with the backdrop of the pandemic. What changed from a line which seemed to suggest we're all in it together, we have to fight it together, to now BJP versus Congress and the backdrop, the pandemic. Joining me right now is Adil Singh Boparai, spokesperson Congress, Sudesh Verma, spokesperson BJP. Adil, what changed? Because you've now seen a concerted attack, especially in the last 10 days. If you talk about the Arogya Setu Act, you talk about Manrega, you talk about the LAC standoff, name it. We talk about the economy, you talk about the migrant crisis. You might say you're with the government, but you're not really with the government.
Well, Preeti, I disagree with the expression and the nomenclature used by you. It's not playing politics, it is seeking accountability. We're in a parliamentary democracy. When numbers are rising, when migrant workers are forced to walk hundreds of miles with their children on their shoulders, when they're pushed into destitution without food, without water, when healthcare professionals are deprived of PPE kits, when there are mass layoffs and retrenchments, when the Chinese have forcibly occupied 60 square kilometers of Indian territory, when Nepal is showing us red eyes, when there are problems with Bangladesh and Sri Lanka, when the economic curve has been completely flattened, when the government's economic policy is completely in tatters, when the government doesn't know how to handle the COVID management issue, when the government cannot directly provide funds to the state governments, where there is pitiable and abyssal devolution of funds to the states, when there is no assistance by the Union Finance Ministry to the states, what are we expected to do? This is not politics, this is seeking accountability. When the Gujarat High Court calls the Ahmedabad Civil Hospital a dungeon, are we supposed to keep quiet? Are our friends in the media supposed to keep quiet? Are we not supposed to ask questions from this government? How long can this government hide in the bunkers? We learn about the Chinese invasion, the Chinese intrusion into Indian territory from Secretary Pompeo. We heard this from the US President Donald Trump. What are we supposed to do? Are we not, as citizens, as patriots, and regardless of our political lines, be concerned about our territorial integrity, about the sanctity of our borders? So please don't call this politics. The BJP government must answer. The remarks of Mr. Ravi Shankar Prasad are intemperate. He is irresponsible, and the government is clueless. This is one of the worst performing governments in the history of independent India.
Okay, Adil, let me take that. Okay, you've made your point, Adil. You've made your point. Instead of getting into rhetoric, I'd like to bring in Mr. Verma, and I hope you'll have the patience to hear him as well. Mr. Verma, why make it about that the Congress is making it about BJP versus the Congress? The question's very clear. Asking for accountability, what's wrong with that? What's wrong in posing questions to the government? That is what a democracy is all about. Why make it about BJP versus Congress?
Shilpi, I'm only able to make out what you're saying. I don't have audio connection.
Okay, we're going to rectify that. Just give us 10 seconds, Mr. Verma. Can you hear me now, Mr. Verma?
No, there's no connection. There's no.
They have no answer.
Okay, we seem to be having an audio problem. We're going to try and reconnect to you. But Adil, let me come back. Now, on the issues which were brought up by Ravi Shankar Prasad, let's take them one by one till we have Mr. Sudesh Verma back with us. When Ravi Shankar Prasad talked about the lockdown, he said that Rahul Gandhi, the Congress, has criticized the lockdown while your own states are doing it. Punjab has extended the lockdown.
Well, Preeti, firstly, Mr. Modi, it was a unilateral decision by Mr. Modi. He did not consult the state chief ministers before imposing the lockdown. There was a 4-hour notice which was given, and this is all in public domain. Mr. Modi, in his flourish and in his rhetoric, promised the country that we'll be able to defeat this epidemic within 21 days. This was a solemn promise. And what is the state of affairs today? Instead of the infections decreasing, today the infections are rising manifoldly. We're the 5th worst performing country. These are facts. These are statistics. These are not numbers which have been conjured up by the Congress party. The second issue about the PPE kits and about the state of affairs in public hospitals, the doctors have come out on their own. whether it is AIIMS, whether it is Gangaram, whether it is Safdarjung, whether it is PGI here in Chandigarh, in my home city. Doctors have come out and said that there are no kits being provided. So if we speak up for the doctors, if we speak up for the health professionals, how is it politics? And if the BJP wants to charge us for politics, then so be it. Today there are mass layoffs. There are layoffs in your sector.
All right, we have Sudesh Verma back. Can I take? Okay. Adil, you made your points. We've got your panelist back, and he's the one who needs to answer those questions for you. So, Sudesh Verma, why make it seem that the Congress is playing out a BJP versus Congress debate while the Congress says questions will be asked in a democracy? What's wrong?
You see, asking questions is fine, but it should not be like a seminar. You know, in Delhi seminaries, people only talk about problems. Are you in a position to give solutions? The government is for solutions, you know. Just by going and taking some photograph with migrant workers, you're not able to provide solutions. Solutions should have come much better. Had you taken care of Maharashtra? Had you taken care of much better way in your states when you're ruling party? You could have organized things much better. That would have been the solution. Rather than trying to do politics over this. And talking about Chinese is surprising. There was never, you know, any problem with the consensus on foreign policy. Mr. Rahul Gandhi may be having a separate, tie-up with Chinese. He goes to Kailash Mansarovar Yatra and talks to Chinese ambassadors. He has a separate line with them. He may be better informed, and he should know what to ask, what not to ask. There is a crisis. People know it, and a resolution will be found out. Do you want to fish in troubled water? Are you for the country or are you for Chinese? What are you trying to do? And when the government is doing its job.
Okay, one second, Mr. Verma. I want to come back with a question, and I hope you will allow me to ask you this question.
And when something comes, you will be told.
Okay, let's take the rhetoric away and let's ask. Okay, Mr. Verma, the question I have asked the same question to your Congress counterpart, talking about rising numbers. What is wrong in questioning the government on what the government's plan is about rising numbers? When you talk about the privacy issues of Arogya Setu app, what is wrong in asking the government about that? The LAC standoff on where India stands vis-a-vis China right now in this diplomatic face-off, what is wrong in asking the government about that?
You see, Silpi, when the army speaks, everybody gets silent. Army is the last word of the state. After that, nobody questions the army. After the Uri, after Pulwama, in China, in Doklam, you have been questioning all the time. You don't have trust on your army. When the army speaks, I don't understand. What has happened to the Congress? Are you going to question your army? You're not questioning the political authorities.
No,
political authorities have not spoken at all.
Okay, let's not get into rhetoric. Mr. Verma, nothing in this country, in a democracy, even the army. And I would reckon, as a responsible citizen, and you must understand that nothing should be above board. Even the army shouldn't be above board of questioning.
Silpi,
but that is a separate issue. Having said that,
what is being responsible and what is being irresponsible, people of this country judge in a much better way.
I need to come in, Preeti. Preeti, can I come in, please?
Okay, Mr. Verma, let Adil respond and I'll come back to you. Yes, Adil, please respond.
Preeti, I have Mr. Narendra Modi's tweets from 2013 and I'm going to read this out for the information of Mr. Sudesh Verma. On the 6th of August 2013, this is Mr. Narendra Modi. From China's intrusions to Pakistan's ambushes, UPA government has been absolutely lax in securing Indian borders. When will the centre wake up? Now, this is the current Home Minister, Mr. Amit Shah. Again in 2013, whenever the Chinese soldiers want, they come and have picnic inside our territory and our government could do nothing. This is the Home Minister of this country. Smriti Irani.
But Adil, if you're going to pull up all of this, the Congress's foreign policy vis-a-vis the Chinese has been no different. So let's not get into that because it's a little rich coming from the Congress trying to tutor the government on what is happening vis-a-vis China with us. So let's not get into that.
I disagree with you, Preeti.
You can read out, and I'm sure Sudesh.
Please hear me out, Preeti. We learn about the border dispute from Secretary Pompeo and Donald Trump, not from our Prime Minister or our Defense Minister. This is a fact. It's a reality. Today, Chinese are 60 square kilometers inside Indian territory. We still don't know. We're not asking for operational details. It is our right to know whether Chinese are inside or not.
Okay, Sudesh Verma needs to respond. He's coming to this. He's coming to this debate late. He needs
the defense minister is lying to the country.
Okay.
It is about our borders.
We're talking about a host of issues which have been brought up, not just the diplomatic face-off. in
Federalism
Ladakh.
is not the
Okay,
sole
let's.
monopoly of the BJP.
Okay, Adil, calm down. Adil, just calm down.
People
Okay, please calm down. Sudesh Verma, can I get Sudesh Verma? So yes, can we just get Sudesh Verma right now? Sudesh Verma, I know you want to respond. Respond.
Can I respond?
Can we just get Sudesh Verma? Yes, please.
Yeah.
Come in.
Shilpi, you see, I charge that the Congress has undermined the defense forces by not taking care of its modernization. We have done that. It is a different defense force today. Ask anybody in the world, they will tell you what Indian Army and what Indian Defense Forces stand for. It was not the same during the time of the Congress. And people recognize it. You have seen what happened in Doklam. And you will see every crisis will be resolved in the best possible with respect of and sovereignty of this country maintained. We are not going to barter Aksai Chi or POK or what you did with Tibet. You have sold the land. You have bartered the interest of the country and you are telling us about tertialism, about army. For us, what army speaks, that is the last word. Whether it is RDX blast in Jammu and Kashmir, whether it's Pulwama, whether it's Suri, you have compromised all the time.
Chinese are inside Indian territory.
Can we go one by one, please?
Who told you that? If you have this information,
Can we please go one by one?
If you have this
Can I get
information,
Sudesh
why are
Verma
you
right now,
asking?
please?
It means you are trying to fool people of this country. If you have this information, say it boldly. Don't ask the government. The government will give authentic information when the time comes.
All right, okay. Can we now shift focus? We've talked about, the border face-off, but can we shift focus right now? Sudesh Verma, what about questions that have been raised? They were answered today by Ravi Shankar Prasad. But when we are talking about the Manrega scheme, the Congress has gone back and said that ultimately you had to fall back on a scheme of the Congress to bail you out during the times of this pandemic.
You see, Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi ji has all the time emphasized that the government is in continuation. He has given credit to every Prime Minister of this country, every party of this country for doing something or the other for the country. But Manrega we have reformed. We have brought transparency and more accountability. The money that is going directly into the accounts of accounts holder, DBT scheme, direct benefit transfer. People are getting their money. There is no corruption. And assets are being created. We have given 40,000 crore more rupees for Manrega so that migrant workers can get their work back home when they reach there. It's not like the Congress that you are created a monument that was, actually moth-eaten. People were pocketing money. And you can see any of the research papers on how Manrega was functioning, you will come to know.
Okay, let me take this question. Can I bring in Adil back on this? Adil, now the CAG reports which were quoted by Ravi Shankar Prasad, and I have them in my hand right now, and if you correlate, they do seem to completely tally, which is in the year of 2007, 2008, 2011, 2012, 2,252 crores was spent on inadmissible work. So if you're going to, go ahead and tom-tom a scheme, then ultimately it will reflect on you as well.
Preeti, again, you have to understand in the right perspective. Why do we see Manrega? Why do we say that the budgetary outlay for Manrega needs to be increased? Because today unemployment has reached 30%. This is a reality. Migrant workers have gone back to their native places. They're without any means of subsistence. That is why we have said that increase the outlay so that you can at least provide them subsistence and they can at least ensure adequate means of livelihood. That's the reason why the Honorable Congress President has advocated this. Now, coming to the core issue, please understand the Prime Minister had criticized and jibed at the Narega as a policy measure on the floor of the House. Today, they have to go back to the same Narega. This is all in public domain. Today, the government of India is clueless. It is not just the Congress-ruled states, but even Assam, which is the BJP-ruled state, where their finance minister said if the centre does not devolve funds, we will not be able to pay salaries to our employees. The GST areas have been withheld. A state like Punjab, which has
I have the last 1 minute, and Adil, I want to ask you.
Given no subsistence.
Adil, the other point that was brought up was massive criticism coming in from Rahul Gandhi, the Congress, on the Arogya Setu app. Now, 11 crore people have downloaded it. A lot of your own states have advocated it.
Again, the BJP, and I want to jog your memory to what Mr. Rahul Gandhi had said in February. We had cautioned this government about the COVID outbreak. They didn't take us seriously. They were busy with the Trump Jamboree event. and you see the state of affairs. As far as Arogya Setu is concerned, we had highlighted and red flagged certain security concerns. We as a constructive opposition had said, please have the open source system. Please ensure that the data is deleted.
Okay.
The government came out with
I have the last 30 seconds. You've made your point. Sudesh Verma,
the government needs to be
what is wrong in highlighting security concerns about an app?
You see, there was no concern in the Arogya Setu app. It was brought for benefit of people. And if the government wants to have data, government will not do in this way. That was the whole purpose of the Congress, what Congress was criticizing. Arogya Setu has helped people understand how to deal with COVID situation. And as the opposition party, they should hail some, they should understand how IT functions. Whatever criticism they came about, nothing actually happened on the ground. They were proved to be wrong. So every time something comes, you'll criticize it, create doubts in the minds of people, so that the process is undermined. This is what we are charging the Congress with.
Economic situation is in a mess. The foreign policy situation is in a mess.
Okay, gentlemen,
we are isolated in our
appreciate you both joining us. We're hoping to take issues. We're going to take some tomorrow as well. Okay, let's not get into that. Adil, appreciate you joining us. Thank you. Sudesh Verma, thank you for coming on the show, and we're hoping to take this debate forward. Instead of getting into rhetoric, talk about the actual brass tacks of it all. Thank you both for joining us. But like I said, yes, politics is back. The backdrop is the pandemic, and the pandemic continues to extract the highest cost even as we speak. Huge spikes being reported. All right, now to move on and focus on something which has a lot of people, especially people like you and I, worried about the fact when we are seeing a massive rise in cases across the world. The question that is being raised is, can asymptomatic people be transmitters? People who have absolutely no symptoms but are carriers of the disease of coronavirus. Can they transmit it? Well, the jury on that is still out. Take a look at this report.
Is it possible to be infected with coronavirus and show no symptoms, or go through many days before symptoms kick in? Yes, that is why now there are three broad categories of those infected by COVID-19. Symptomatic, people who are infected and reflect symptoms of coronavirus. Pre-symptomatic, people who are infected but don't have symptoms, however, later develop symptoms. And lastly, asymptomatic, people who are infected and never develop symptoms. While symptomatic carriers are easy to identify, it's the pre-symptomatic carriers that are considered most potent silent spreaders.
Recently, WHO has said that the risk of spread from asymptomatic people is only 6%. Earlier, certain people who were thought to be asymptomatic spreaders, they were actually pre-symptomatic people or people with mild symptoms like body aches, mild flu-like symptoms like running nose or cough.
After infection, symptoms might not develop for 5 to 14 days. The time between catching the virus and showing symptoms is called the pre-symptomatic phase. This is when the carrier can easily pass on the virus. The big question is, can asymptomatic carriers transmit disease? How infectious are virus carriers who have the disease but will never develop symptoms? How much coronavirus transmission comes from people with no symptoms is still a bit clear. But the WHO earlier had stated that it was very rare for asymptomatic people to pass on the disease.
It still appears to be rare that an asymptomatic individual actually transmits onward.
However, WHO later stressed that this observation was based on a relatively small set of studies.
We have to be very careful in making a statement that an asymptomatic carrier is not a spreader. We need to generate evidence for us. This is the study which is yet to come from Wuhan. These are only on the online studies. We have to be careful, and asymptomatic carriers have to be taken seriously, and their contacts need to be watched.
So while the jury is out on how infectious are asymptomatic carriers, with experts varying on opinion, what is confirmed is that this is a new disease. Research on it is still developing. Your best safeguard is still what we knew right at the beginning: social distancing, washing your hands and wearing masks. Bureau Report, India Today.
All right, so still a big question mark on the fact whether asymptomatic carriers are also transmitters of this disease. It's a new disease. The research is limited. The WHO has also said that its reactions on whether asymptomatic carriers can actually transmit the disease or can be spreaders is limited to only a few studies. We're going to keep a keen eye and get you all the information on that. But with that, I just want to move on in the bulletin and get you these visuals. Every day we see India slowly opening up. Well, these visuals are coming in from Tirupati. Now, Tirupati temple has opened up after 75 days. The hill shrine will now open its doors to devotees after over 75 days. Hundreds of devotees today thronged the token counters for first darshan. Long queues were seen outside the ticket counters. Hygiene arrangements are in place for the devotees. The temple used to see close to 1 lakh devotees daily before the coronavirus pandemic. The question will remain if the temple once again will see such huge numbers. And if it does, how will the government, the administration of Tirupati actually manage it? Because going by these visuals, it doesn't look that it can. All right, visuals like this once again raise that one pertinent question that everybody is asking. Are we ready for worship in terms of are we ready to open out our religious spaces, or should we be a little more prudent and avoid it, at least for the time being, when we're seeing a huge spike? Well, we let our viewers decide whether they would want to go to a place of worship or not. With that, it's a wrap into the top point. We'll, of course, see you tomorrow. Thank you for watching. Hi everyone, Preeti Chaudhary here. Hope you like this video. For latest news and analysis, like and subscribe to the India Today YouTube channel. And don't forget to press the bell icon to stay updated. Thank you for watching.